We got that fresh cheese pasta bowl, y'all. Let's get right into it. Got to melt that cheese. Oh, hold on, wait, hold up. There we go. There we go. Let's get that cheese melted down some. Yes. I came to play no game. Come to play no games. Woo! My big bag just go to twerking, y'all. I can't help it, y'all. What? My big bag twerking, y'all. And I can't help it, y'all. Okay? Now, y'all, now that we got that cheese melted a little bit, y'all can see it now? Okay, now what we're going to do next is we're going to take our pasta and we're going to put it inside of the cheese because we want to swirl this around. Yes, Lord. Y'all, when I tell y'all, that's spotty yada. Y'all, I got chicken in here. I don't know if y'all can tell. Cause baby. What? Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. That's that secret weapon lemonade. Oh, yes, Lord. All right, y'all, let's get into this story time. Now, this story time is about Toya and Britney. And y'all, make no mistake, one of the worst person that you can have around you. Okay, y'all, let's get into this story time. Y'all, this story time is about Toya and Britney. Y'all, make no mistake, one of the worst people that you can have around you is jealous and envious people. Because those people are going to be very detrimental to your life. They're going to be very dangerous. Make no mistake. Yes, dangerous. Now, Toya and Brittany was best friends. And when I say they was best friends, they knew each other since elementary school. And they even lived right beside each other. Now, Toya and Brittany grew up in a nice neighborhood. And when I say it was a nice neighborhood, it was a nice neighborhood because it was a gated community, security guard in the front. And all the houses in that neighborhood cost anywhere between $700,000 to $1 million. Now, life was going good for Brittany and Toya all up into middle school. One day they was riding their bike home from middle school and they always rode their bike to and from school because the school was right in their neighborhood and it was only like a mile away. So one day they was riding their bikes home and the closer they got to their house, they noticed they started seeing a lot of police cars. But now they didn't know if the police cars was at Brittany house or were they at Toya house because they live right beside each other. So they kept riding their bikes, but the closer they got to their house, they realized that the police was at Toya house. So they started riding their bikes faster because they was trying to see what was going on. Now, once they got closer to the house, they noticed that it was a lot of polices like all in the yard, walking in and out of Toya house. So they both like jumped off their bikes and they tried to run inside the house to see what was going on. But before they could make it inside the house, the police stopped them and Brittany's mom was outside calling them to come over there because she knew they couldn't go inside the house. So once they went over to where Brittany's mom was at this point, Toya freaking out because she's like, where's my mom? Where's my dad? What's going on? So she gets her phone and she starts calling her mom repeatedly. Her mom is not answering. She's calling her dad repeatedly. Her dad's not answering. So the more that her parents are not answering their phone, she's like freaking out and she starts crying because she wants her mom, her dad, and she want to know what all these police is doing, going in and out of her house. So that goes on for like 10 minutes and they end up going inside of Brittany's house because Brittany's mom at this point is trying to calm Toya down because Toya is freaking out and she still is trying to run over there to run inside the house to see what's going on. So after about, let's say 45 minutes to an hour, the police go over to Brittany's house because the police know that that's where Toya is at. Knock on the door. Brittany's mom opened the door and she stepped outside and started talking to the police. So her and the police talked for about 10 minutes. And then she walked inside and she asked Toya, she was like, Toya, do you have anybody to come pick you up? So Toya was like, wait, where's my mom? Where's my dad? Like, I don't got nobody to pick me up. I just need my mom or my dad. So the police was like, well, I'm sorry, honey, your mom and your dad can't pick you up right now because they got to go with the police to handle some business. So once they said that, Toya started crying and more like, what's going on? What's going on? Y'all come to find out, Toya, mama and daddy got arrested. because the police that was walking in and outside of her house was the feds. They pretty much got busted. Her mom and her dad was doing like illegal activity, and they've been doing it for a few years, and the police had been watching them. So once Brittany mom explained to her, like, your mama and daddy ain't finna get you no time soon. Like, who do you have to call to pick you up? Because if not, you're gonna have to go with the police. And they pretty much was gonna put her like in, child protective custody, or she was gonna be ward of the state, basically. So once Toya realized that, she can't go with her mom and dad, she was like, hey, I know my grandma, let me call my grandma, she'll come pick me up. So Toya get the phone and she calls her grandma. Y'all, but keep in mind, her grandma stays states away from where she stay at. Her grandma is like 2,000 miles away. So when her grandma answered the phone, her grandma is freaking out and she's like, what's going on? So Toya tell her what's going on, and then she hands the phone to Brittany's mom. Brittany and Toya grandma started talking, and she explained, like, pretty much, your daughter done got arrested and your son-in-law has got arrested as well. And basically Brittany needs to go to the next of kin because they're going to be in jail for a while. So her grandma said, okay, well, let me figure it out if it's okay if she can stay there for like a week, because I got to, like, figure out how I'm going to get there. Because keep in mind, y'all, her grandma is not rich like Toya mom and dad was. And it wasn't that Toya mom and dad was rich. They was just doing illegal activities to where they had a lot of cash on hand. But her grandma wasn't the same. So Brittany moms was like, okay, cool. Like, she can stay here for the rest of the week. If you need help getting here to pick her up, we're going to help you out. Like, whatever we need to do, we'll be there for you. So when Brittany and Toya was talking, Toya kept telling Brittany that she didn't want to go stay with her grandma. Now, Toya didn't want to go stay with her grandma because she knew her grandma didn't have a lot of money. Her grandma wasn't living the lifestyle that she was used to living. And so Toya and Brittany convinced Brittany mom and dad to let Toya live with them. And they, keep in mind, y'all, they knew Toya since elementary. So it wasn't like this was a stranger. They lived next to each other for years. Their kids went to school together. So they was like, listen, we'll talk to your grandma. If she cool with it, we'll do it. So when they called the grandma and talked to her, the grandma was like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I really want to raise my granddaughter, but I would let her stay there till the end of the school year. That way she don't have to, switch schools in the middle of the school year. So everybody was cool with that. So everything was fine. They started going to school. Everything was good. So once the summer was coming close to an end, Toya kept stressing to her grandma that she didn't want to move. She didn't want to move because she didn't want to leave her friends. And she didn't want to go to a state where she didn't know anybody. Because keep in mind, y'all, if she was going to move, the only person that she would really know is her grandma. And she really, really didn't know her grandma like that because she visited her grandma from time to time, but it wasn't like they was close. So Toya grandma and Brittany mom and dad decided to surprise Toya, and they pretty much moved Toya grandma to where they lived at. Now, they did get her a condo, but it wasn't in the same area. Like, it wasn't in the same neighborhood, but it was in the area. It was in the area to where she could still go to the same school. She had to leave her friends. So that was pretty much her grandma compromise to say, listen, I understand you're going through it, like, it's everything is a shock to you, so I'm going to try to accommodate. But the problem was, y'all, when Toya moved with her grandma, she still wasn't living the lifestyle that she was used to living because her grandma had to work to be able to afford them living in that condo. So that's when things really started taking a turn for the worse for Toya, because Toya started stealing. She started stealing stuff, like, because she was trying to just basically keep up with the kids that was at her school. Because keep in mind, she was going to a school where their parents had money and they was living the lifestyle that she used to live, that she could no longer afford to live. So, but her grandma keeping her in that school, it was really kind of worse for her, because now she had to go to this school where she didn't have the name brand clothes. She didn't have the name brand shoes. So of course, Toya started stealing. Not only did she started stealing, she started running with the wrong people, like hanging out with gangs and stuff like that. So eventually, Toya and Brittany end up losing contact with each other. Fast forward 10 years later, Toya is fresh out of prison looking for a decent job so she can get custody of her daughter. See, Toya went to prison 5 years ago for stealing a vehicle. And the sad part about it is, when she went to jail, she found out that she was pregnant. So Toya ended up having her daughter in jail chained to a hospital bed. But from the moment that Toya had her daughter in jail chained to that hospital bed, she made a vow that she was going to get out, change her life, and get her daughter back. So now it's been 2 months since Toya been out, but she still haven't been able to get her daughter back because nobody really want to hire a convicted felon. So as much as Toya tried to be positive and stay focused, she was really losing hope. But one day, her probation officer called her and said, listen, they're having a job fair for convicted felons. I think you should go to that job fair because you might be able to get a good job there since they know that they are hiring convicted felons. So Toya was excited. She stayed up all night fixing her resume. She was standing in the mirror practicing what she was going to say when they asked her the famous question, why did you go to jail? She was ready to go. She got all her clothes ready. She made sure she smelled good. She was looking good. And that morning, she got up at the crack of dawn, walked to the bus stop, got on that bus, and she was on her way to that job fair to get that job so she can get her daughter. So once she made it to the job fair, she was excited. She had a whole lot of resumes ready to pass out, and she was ready for a couple interviews. Now, after being at that job fair for about an hour, she started to lose hope. I mean, everybody that had interviewed her didn't hire her on the spot like her probation officer said they would. So she was getting ready to leave that job fair with her head hanging low. And really, she had tears in her eyes, but she fought back the tears. But as she was getting ready to walk out, she heard somebody yelling, Toya, 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 is that you? So Toya was looking around and she didn't see nobody. She said, Toya, it's me. So she saw the lady that was calling her, but she really didn't recognize her. She was like, huh? And so she was like, it's me, Britney. So when she said Britney, she said, Britney? Toya started running over there. I'm talking about Toya got on the skirt and some heels. But when she said Britney, Toya took off running in high heel shoes. You thought she was a professional track runner in high heels. She made it over to where Britney was. She gave Britney a hug. I'm talking about they hug for a long time. And she was like, Britney, I'm so happy to see you. And Britney said, Toya, I'm happy to see you. How you been? So they started catching up, telling each other about their life. Toya started telling her how she been to prison, how she just getting out, how she had her daughter in jail. And she was getting real emotional because she was already starting to cry when she was walking out, but she was holding back the tears. So after she told Brittany everything that was going on, Brittany was like, you know what? It was meant for you to come here, girl. I'm finna be your blessing today. Toya was like, what you mean? She said, girl, I'm here hiring right now for the company that I work for. I can hire you right now on the spot, no questions. She was like, I don't got to do no interview or nothing. Brittany said, girl, I know you. You don't got to do no interview. You're hired. So she was like, okay, I'm so happy. And she was like, hold on, Brittany. I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but how much is this paying? Because I needed to be paying a certain amount so I can have, enough money to get my daughter back. I need a place to stay. So she was like, you know what, girl, it is minimum wage, but you know what? Let me see your resume. So when Toya showed Brittany her resume, she said, oh, don't worry about it. I know how to fix this. So she pulled up on her laptop and she basically redid Toya's resume right there. But this is what she did. When she redid Toya's resume, she didn't put on there that Toya was a convicted felon. And she put on there that Toya had previous experience. So not only did Toya get hired for this call center, Toya got hired as the manager at this call center. After that day, Toya's life turned around for the better. I'm talking about everything started falling into place. By now, she had been working at that job for 6 months. She had done got her place to stay. She was paying her probation officer on time, and she was 2 weeks away from getting custody of her daughter. I mean, everything was falling into place. Not to mention, she was also working on her business on the side. Because see, when Toya had went to jail, she had learned how to do nails. So Toya's plan was to work a good job, but she was investing all her extra money into her business. So her plan was once she built up enough clientele, she was just going to pretty much focus on her business full time. So everything was falling into place. But there was one thing, her and Brittany's relationship was not doing good at all. So Toya, being the person that she is, she decided to basically link up with Brittany and straight up ask her, like, what's going on? Like, what happened to our friendship? Because she didn't understand how they went from reconnecting, hanging out every day, tight as ever, to it seemed like Brittany had a problem with her. So she called Brittany and was like, Brittany, let's go out to dinner. We ain't hung out in a while. Let's hang out and just have a good time, just me and you, and just, catch up and see what's going on. So Brittany was like, girl, I can't do that. I'm getting a divorce right now. I can't afford to go out to dinner. I got to just focus on things I got going on. This divorce is really taking me through it. So Toya was like, girl, don't worry about it. It's on me. It's on me. Like I told you, girl, my nail business is doing good. I'm glad you got me this job. Like, girl, if you ever need anything, just call me. I'm going to be there for you regardless. So Brittany was like, are you sure, girl? So they go out to eat. They meet up. They having fun. They having drinks. And so Toya asked her straight up. She like, girl, what happened? Like, I feel like something is wrong with our relationship. Like, we went from hanging out every day, talking every day, to now it just seems like you got a problem with me. So I just want to know, is it anything I did? And so Brittany tell her straight up, she was like, girl, I'm just going through a divorce. You know, my ex-husband leaving me. I'm stuck with all these bills. And she was like, I'm just financially going through it. And so Toya was like, girl, I've been told you, if you ever need something, you can ask me. She was like, I'm here for you. I'm gonna be here for you. She was like, you know, I told you my business is doing good. I'm making good money at the job. And she was like, if you ever need me, I'm here for you. So then Brittany was like, yeah, girl, I don't mean that. But what I'm saying is you can be doing good today, bad tomorrow. Like you don't know how long you're gonna be winning for. So Toya feeling some type of way. She was like, Brittany, just say what you mean because it sounds like you're trying to say something. So you just need to say exactly what you're trying to say. And so Brittany said, fine, if you want me to say it, I'll say it. She said, look at me and look at you. She said, you're a convicted felon. She said, I'm a college graduate. Do you think that your life will ever be better than mine? She was like, yeah, girl, you're doing better than me right now, but that ain't gonna last. She said, all you doing is doing people nails. That ain't gonna last. Anybody can do nails. She said, and I got you this job. So do you really think that you're going to continue to be doing better than me? Like, I don't want to ask you for nothing because when everything start coming down on you, like, I don't want to have to save you again. Not for nothing. I be thinking about that every day. Like, I did help you get this job. So Toya couldn't believe it. And so she looked at Brittany straight up. She said, hold on, Brittany. So what you saying is you deserve to live a better life than me. You deserve to live a better life than me because you never committed a crime. You deserve to live a better life than me because you graduated college. She said, girl, don't make no mistake. She said, I get up and I work hard every day. Just because my work hard is not your work hard doesn't mean I'm not working hard. And it doesn't mean that I'm not working harder than you. She said, but are you sitting here telling me that you deserve to live a better life than me because I'm taking a different path than you're taking? She said, there's something rooted deep in you that you really need to fix within yourself, if that's what you think. So Brittany was like, no, girl, you taking it the wrong way. You taking it the wrong way. You taking it the wrong way. I didn't mean nothing like that. And so Toya was like, okay, girl, I'm sorry. Because sometimes I be tripping. Sometimes I really do be tripping, but I thought that's what you meant. So she was like, no. So they got out that conversation. They kept having drinks and everything was good. So y'all tell me why the very next day, and I'm talking about the very next day that Toya get to work, her boss called her in the office and she confused at what's going on. So she sit down real slow and she was like, yes. Is it something you want to talk to me about? And he looked at her and he say, do you know that lying on the application is illegal? Lying on the job application is very illegal. Do you know that? And she was like, yes. He said, okay, so this is what we're going to do. He said, you're fired and you're going to sign a paper that you can't get unemployment. And then we're going to let this go. She was like, wait, but what's going on? What's going on? He said, because you lied on your application, it says you are not a convicted felon when you are. He said, we don't hire convicted felons for the job position that you're in. You're working with people credit cards. You got people all personal information. He said, we don't want a convicted felon doing that. You went to prison for 5 years for stealing. Why would we hire you to be working with people credit cards? She couldn't believe it. She said, you know what? You're right. She signed the paper. She went and packed up her desk and she went home crying. She said that she cried. She cried and she cried. Not once did she call Britney because she already knew the only way they found that out, she was convinced after the conversation that her and Britney had that night. She was convinced that Britney was the one that told them. Yeah, she was very convinced. And this is the thing, y'all. She never called Britney and Britney never called her. So they never spoke to each other after that night. Never called her. Even after Britney found out that she got fired from the job, Britney never called her. Never called. And Toya made it a point to never call Britney because she was like, I'm just going to wait and see what's going to happen. But see, little do Britney know that Toya nail business had already started taking off. So although she got fired, the only thing she did was start focusing more on her clients, or her business just started to grow and grow and grow, grow and grow and grow. So even though Toya got fired, she still was able to maintain her lifestyle and get her daughter back. And she's been doing good ever since. But they never talked to each other after that night. Britney never called her. And that's how she knew that Britney was the one that told the manager she lied on her job application. And it's sad. But the worst part about it is it happens every single day because people want you to live the life that they think you deserve. Let me say that again. A lot of people want you to live the life that they think you deserve. And that's where the sad part come in at. Because we all on separate journeys and we're all gonna get to where we're going through different ways. We're not going to all take the paved way that was laid out for us. We're all not going to take the straight and narrow that was laid out for us. Some of us are going to have twists and turns and curves in our journey, but that doesn't mean you don't deserve to live the life that you want to live. It doesn't mean that. But see, let's take a look at Britney and Toya, for example. Britney had jealous and envy in her heart for Toya. Why? Because Britney took the paved route. She took the way that was paved out for her. She went to college. She didn't commit no crimes. She made a lot of good decisions. And then you have Toya. Toya didn't go to college. She made a lot of bad decisions and she committed a lot of crimes. But eventually, she started getting it together. So they was on the different journeys. They still trying to live a great life, but just because Toya made a few more bad decisions than Britney made, Britney thought that she didn't deserve the success that she was getting, thought that she didn't deserve to live the life that she was getting. We have to be very careful, y'all. Very, very careful. Because a lot of people talk about survival remorse, but not that many people talk about beat the odds remorse. And beat the odds remorse is just the total opposite of survivor's remorse. Simple. You're beating the odds. You're not where they left you at. And not only are you not where they left you at, you a lot more farther than what they thought you should be. And now that you are, they don't think you deserve to be there because you didn't get there the way they got there, because you didn't take the path that they took. So now they want to discredit your life. Now your life doesn't mean as much because you didn't do it their way. Y'all, that's jealous, that's envy. And that's something that you're never going to be able to change in somebody. When a person is jealous and envy like that, when a person has jealous and envy in their heart like that, that's something that they have to take up with the God that they serve. That's something you will never be able to change. That's something you will never be able to fix. The only thing you should do when you're surrounded by a person like that or people like that is get as far away from them as possible because they're dangerous. Because it takes a special type of evil person to really sit there and think that their life is better than yours, all because you didn't get to your success the way they got to theirs. Stay away from them people. And as usual, it's been fun.